Mr. Doctor Who guy. Yeah.
What?
He put his penis on a woman's shoulder and had a
That's
good
the
laugh.
one. That's the one who. Yeah. They eventually kicked him out, but the other guy.
He's
There you
gay,
go.
though. But
what's
he's
his
gay.
name?
That one,
The black guy.
his name now. What the hell's his name?
Yeah.
I
He's
can't remember his name.
like
Well,
Waterman or Waterhouse.
But is it true that fat women only like gay people and they become bag hags? Is it true about that then?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's what they're called.
yeah,
that?
yeah.
That's the vernacular. It's fag hag.
No, but I don't think it's just fat women. I think what happens is they go out with the girls for a night out.
Yeah.
I think they still want the protection of a man when they go out. They want to get the drinks from the man when they go out. He's the safest person. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you got the perceived gay man who will be camp, but you never know what. Sometimes they'll try and shoot the shot, won't they?
Yeah.
They will. They'll try and shoot the shot. Think you know something? I've got in here.
So everything you've just told me there is telling me that I'm 100% right. Kevin Samuels is gay.
No. But hang on a second. Hang on.
I know. Wait a minute. Neville. Right. Okay. I don't know how true it is yet. You know when these reports first come out, right? Yeah. Right. Was it Teddy Pendergrass when he had a car crash? It was a trans section in the car.
Yeah.
I know it's weird.
And that was never resolved, was it?
Yeah,
It was never resolved.
I had it in my mind, but I've never seen. Is it true? For real true? In a court case, mention the court. But Kevin Samuels could have died on top of a woman, apparently. He was doing it.
So you know what? You know what it is? Everton, he tried it.
So I don't know.
Like it. No. He tried it.
Your girlfriend.
He didn't like it. He did.
He did.
He did.
Well, he liked it so much, it killed him.
Let's be honest.
He was giving it everything, right? Yeah, he gave it his life. In fact, right? Yeah, I think he liked it.
I bet he still had his tie on. Let me just tell you something, Everton. I believe he might not even be dead. He might have just killed the character. Because people don't know if he's dead or not.
Now.
He might have thought, you know what? It's time for Kevin Samuels, the guru, to move. And he might have just killed the character.
No.
It's not been confirmed. There's been no death certificate. People looking
It's been confirmed. It's been confirmed.
It could be.
It's spoke to his mom and everything. It's been confirmed. Yeah, he's dead. Confirmed.
Yeah. What? How?
How?
Well, apparently his mom was interviewed and she said she's really upset. She found out by social media and then the police contacted her later on. So it's pretty sad. She has to go and identify him. Yeah, that hasn't been done yet.
You don't know
she's not done it.
Cause of death.
So as you say, it's not been
autopsy. They're doing an autopsy. That'll be revealed later on in the next couple of weeks, apparently. Yeah.
Okay.
No suspicious circumstances. Suspected heart attack.
Don't get me wrong. I had nothing against the man, whatever it was. I had nothing against him. I thought he dressed quite nicely.
You say nothing against the man after disparaging the guy.
Listen, to me, he
ravished the guy.
You don't have to be cutting with your remarks to anybody just because you can. It doesn't actually. I don't think you achieve any points.
No, that's for the clicks. That's for the clicks. Remember, you're only just about average, was it? Was it?
Average at best.
Average at best. That went viral, and that made his channel rocket.
It was viral because think about this. He said to the woman, he says, "Well, I need to make sure that I'm not getting somebody on my right level." Because he said, "Well, what do you do?" He says, "I've got my own business." It's an amateur. He says, "I earn over 6 figures." So his next words were, "So this just like having a normal job."
And guess what? I saw that one, right? Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, she was average at best.
So somebody who's earning 100,000 plus.
A woman is 100,000 plus. A man earning 100,000 plus is a different proposition. That's his whole point. Yeah, the whole point of the whole thing. Yeah.
So what he's saying is,
a woman earning 100,000 right is not good to a man. That's why the man's not interested in her earnings. Yeah.
There you go.
But the other way
let me-
around, a
let-
woman's
let me tell-
interested in
let me
man's
tell you
earning.
why I
That
think
was
he
the
was
whole
wrong.
point. It's not
Let me tell you
symmetry.
why I think
No
he was wrong.
symmetry.
He said, "You're not going to earn more because I think she was running a doggy parlor or something, dog grooming."
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so what's wrong with that? So he's knocked it. But let me put a business head on and show you a different side.
Mm.
She might decide, you know what? I've got one here in Atlanta. I'm going to open up
Yeah,
another one in Georgia, in Wisconsin, Michigan, whatever. I'm going to go and make sure that I open 4 a month. I'm not going to run them. I'm going to give them the process. I'm going to tell them how it's going to work. And that's how it's going to work. So she could turn that, just like
franchising.
McDonald's started in one place, into a
Yeah. But,
multi-million pound
But
business.
Neville.
He was just knocking her.
But Neville. Unfortunately, right? Yeah. And I mean, as I think I was telling you earlier on, my daughters and their girlfriends they waste their time watching Kevin Samuels. Yeah. And made much because I mentioned him one time, right? Yeah. So I watched a lot of Kevin Samuels stuff, right? Yeah. And it has been said before about him that he sometimes comes out negative. Even when the men he come out slightly negative, he's not meant to do that, right? Yeah, right. You're not going to make 100,000 subscriptions on this XYZ, right? Yeah, he's been a bit negative, yeah, and that's been pointed out. But at the same time, right, the whole thing about his channel, why women phone in, they want to be challenged like that, right? They want to be challenged like that, and when they phone in their droves, right? Yeah, there's no shortage of people phoning in, you know, no shortage. They want to phone in for their turn, yeah. And when you hear their stories and everything, right, yeah, and how they describe it and the difficulty. Remember, a lot of them are phoning in because they can't find a man, yeah. And some people have phoned in again and said, "Thank God for Kevin, right? Yeah, he changed my life. He turned it around. I was going down the pathway, no man, every guy with a not one night stand, short term relationship, yeah. It brought the realism to me, and all of a sudden my life changed, and I found a guy. I'm now happy. Either I've gone back to my ex-husband or whatever, yeah. I'm now happy, yeah. I now know how to treat my man, yeah." Right, and I value that man now, right? Yeah. Now that I've seen the drought conditions outside in the singleton world, right? Yeah, right. I now value this guy, right? Yeah, and people, no, you comment on that one, the average at best, but there's other things going on all the time around
But
that whole story. Yeah.
The reality is, average at
So
best,
what we
people
hear,
get launched in.
again, what we hear is the
Kevin
bad
Samuels is
story,
very,
right?
very
Yeah? And all
clever
all the
guy.
good stories fall off the cliff.
Hang on, guys, one at a time. Go on,
Kevin
Owen.
Samuels is Kevin Samuels is a very, very clever guy. Because I mean, number one, you could say he did it to make a name for himself. He
Yeah.
purposely wanted to shock. He's a shock jock, but at the same time,
Yeah, exactly.
even although
yeah.
he ruthlessly, but very cleverly, he used a scalpel rather than a broadsword. He would take them
No,
down.
broadsword rather than a
Peg
scalpel.
by peg.
I think it's a broadsword
You-
rather than a scalpel.
No. Sometimes it was scalpel. It was scalpelized.
Position.
Mm.
Very,
He tips
very
off them.
subtle.
And it stopped them in their tracks. Now the fact is that there was another thing that was going on there, because at the same time in the exchange, it was therapeutic, to a certain degree. It was therapeutic to the person that was challenging him, because it forced them to see themselves, and it also gave them an opportunity to literally have a wake-up call and smell the coffee. That after the aspirational stuff they were putting towards him, he would tell it like it is. Yes, you could say that he was like a bitch, because very, very catchy. He was just being gratuitous. But at the same time, the ironic thing about it is that it was therapeutic for the challenger, because it really allowed them to see, well, wait a minute, perhaps all of my eggs that I've set in this basket is too high. I have to look at myself,
exactly.
whether or not right. I have market value. It's no use being aspirational about something if you don't have market value. And Kevin Samuels, in every one of his shows, the underlying factor was, do you have market value? Can you attract? Are you as worthy as your aspirations? Because if you're not, shut your mouth.
Yeah, but a lot of it was whether these women, and this is about women, and he did it with the men. Are you self-aware?
Yeah, I'm the man too.
Are you self-aware?
Yeah.
Do you know where you are? It's like saying, and it's there's people who are cleaners. We can't all be doctors. We can't all be lawyers.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all different shapes, sizes, colours, and everything else. Okay, so when you shoot your shot, I mean, Neville knows when I've been out and I've gone right up there, and I've also gone at my level. Never gone below. Never gone below. Never done that. But the thing is, though, you got these women that go on there. They want to go out with it. I'll give you an example. I went to go see a customer about a website, and she got talking. She said, "Oh, I see you married." I said, "Oh, I'm not married. I'm engaged." And she said, "Okay." And I said, "Oh, are you married?" Because she owned the business. I assume she owned it with a partner. It's a restaurant. And I said to her, "Where's your husband?" And so, "I'm not married." I said, "Okay." She had 3 daughters. I then said, she said, "Oh, I bet you're going out with a white woman." And I said, "Yeah, I am. I am actually. I'm engaged to one." And I said, "What type of man are you looking for?" And she said, "Oh, I don't need a man." That's the first thing she said. "I don't need a man." So obviously, eye roll, side eye, everything came out of me. Really. Okay. So that hang on, Neville. It then triggered my trump card. And then said, "So, if you're going to look for a man, then what type of man what you're looking for?" And she said, "I want a man who's tall, got his own business, got his own work, got his own house, drives a nice car, doesn't do drugs." Hang on, Neville. Doesn't do drugs, do all these things. And I said, "Oh, that's nice." I said, "What's what's your missus like?" I said, "Oh, she's 5'6", size 8 to 10 dress, blonde hair, and I said no extensions or anything else because I'm not into that." I said, "I wouldn't date fat women." That triggered her. That triggered her. "Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that." I said, "Oh, well, stop for a second. You just told me you want a man who's 6 foot tall, muscular build.
Exactly.
You've got to stand up yourself."
Exactly what Kevin Samuels was saying.
Yeah,
exactly.
I couldn't believe it happened. And
Unfortunately, you have market value. And there you go.
But listen,
but this was a woman who had a weave on her head. It wasn't her own hair.
nothing wrong with that.
It wasn't her own nails.
Arsenal beat 3-0.
And she's caked in makeup, which she didn't need to have. Now, she didn't need to do any of those things because she's quite attractive, really.
Listen,
but she put too much makeup on her face. The thing is, though, what he did, he highlighted. Are you self-aware of where you are in the marketplace? Who is going to go after you? Who wants you? The people that you want, are you behaving the way that they want you to move? And he highlighted every single time. He had some hard-headed women on there.
Yeah.
And it was embarrassing to watch them.
Yes,
kill themselves. Really.
Let me
never come back.
I don't think it's out of order or unreasonable to say I'm currently at this level, and I want somebody to at least be on this level or a similar level.
Absolutely.
So we can move together.
Absolutely.
You saying about that you don't date fat girls, absolutely, I understand that. But generally what happens is you get them when they're slim, and later on when they get comfortable, they start putting weight on. It's a fact of life. This is what happens with them. Right? We know this town.
It depends what you pick. I've been there.
So Neville and Tony. So Neville and Tony, right? Yeah. So whatever woman you're going with, right? Yeah, it better be more than physicality looking at, right?
Exactly.
It's got the whole package, right? Yeah.
Absolutely right. That's exactly right.
We've always got to remember, men, like you said, visual. When you see someone for the first time, and I'll remind you of something that happened with us when we went out, Neville. We went to a nightclub in Shrewsbury. Okay, it was me, you, and Shiraz, and we only saw the back of the woman. She had long blonde hair, and she was slim. She was slim. Neville said to me, and I can still remember to this day. Neville said to me, "Oh, she looks good, doesn't she?" In those days, I didn't like blonde hair women at all. I preferred my women a bit curvier, right? She turned round and she had a face like someone had beaten her up. Terrible,
right?
Absolutely terrible. And when she turned round, all you had to look at was, has she got decent breasts? That's it.
Absolutely. And do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? It's Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Now, with Maslow,
Maslow.
it depends on what you
Maslow.
want at that time of life.
Maslow.
Maslow.
Okay.
Maslow.
They call it Maslow. With Maslow, it depends on what you require at that time.
Hierarchy.
Yeah,
If you've got a vehicle at home that works,
but it
but it's
goes on
only
rewards
left
too. don't it?
in the garage, you may only need a little vehicle for the night. The vehicle for the
Well,
night can
that
have
was you.
different
That
options.
was you, isn't it?
That was-
Looking for the tits. That was you.
So sometimes all you need is, you know what, I'm not really bothered about that. I'm not going to be looking at those anyway. I'm not interested.
And
Where you are in the hierarchy.
when you're younger,
You're
there's nothing wrong
objectifying
with
the
that.
woman right there.
You're damn
Compared her
right.
to a little
And I tell you what,
vehicle
Owen,
in the
I don't know
garage.
how we get on today because you can't say hello to a woman without being called, have the police called on.
Yeah, but Owen, right? Yeah. Owen, right?
Yes, yeah.
To be and this is to be plain speaking, right? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Tony said men are very visual, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, and I don't know whether women realize it, certain parts of the male anatomy are not under conscious control, right?
Of course.
Those pieces of anatomy must be switched on by something in here or something, right? Yeah, right. Yeah,
I agree with my learning friend. I agree.
and all of that. So all of that that's going on that must reach back and then reach that primitive reptilian brain
That's right.
to cause things to
Primal.
function,
Primal.
to cause you to
Primordial.
blush, to cause you to blush, to cause you to react, right? Yeah, and that's not, and that
Yeah.
if you call it objectification, right? I'm sorry, that's
Well,
if it's below conscious
well,
level of thought, right? Yeah, what are you gonna do? I can't do anything
can I
about it.
respond to you? Can I respond?
Yeah,
Can I respond to my right honourable friend? The right honourable gentleman is right, but in response to you, sir, I was being mischievous. I,
All right.
like everybody else, right, is a red-blooded male, and I will not have, whether she's a new woman, a heavenly woman, or a low woman, or an east or west woman, I
Yeah.
will not have my maleness
Yeah.
compromised. I am
Yeah,
glad
well,
that I'm glad that I'm a visual person.
Mm.
I don't particularly go for the objectification of them, but I'm a visual person.
yeah, no, yeah.
but I also have,
understand that,
but I also have within me too. I'm sure you guys, because you guys are, the guys I'm talking to tonight are of a different caliber. There's not many guys like you around, right? I know for a fact. Well, I'm telling you, I can say that with full confidence, because a lot of you guys, remember, we're in the minority. We can engage in discourse without killing ourselves. We're quite articulate, and we do know about the world, right? As far as I'm concerned, I can see beyond just the physical too. As a man, I choose. And I think I'm confident in saying that all of you guys are saying I can choose to go beyond the physical, right, to see the spiritual, the emotional, and everything else which lies behind what I'm doing. But at the same time, as a man, I have to hold my hand up, Everton. I love to be visual. Thank you. Bless me, Father. I love to be visual because I'm telling you, women, we can't live with them, but we can't live without them. And when you find the one, as the Prophet Muhammad said, there is treasure at a woman's feet. I would say, right, to my learned friend, who I respect, there is even heaven at the arch of their thighs, because therein lies the ambrosia of heaven. I rest my case there. Respond to that.
But
it's a Trinidadian author. What's his name?
Sorry?
I can't remember his name. That last bit, the treasure in the arch. That's some Trinidadian guy. He got that knighthood, sir.
In the Quran, it says,
in the Quran.
In the Quran.
Okay, it says that sort of thing. Okay, it sounds like the Quran.
There's treasure at a woman's feet, right? Especially with that's the reason why they're supposed to be mothers. But I would add my own. There is heaven at the arch of their thighs, where it meets in heaven, called ambrosia. The Venus moan, my dear friend. Would you agree, my little friend? The Venus Mound is the temple of joy. It is what life is made of. We spent 9 months trying to get out of it in a lifetime, trying to get back in.
I'm gonna have to look that one up on Google Earth.
Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sanctum. Amen.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nuno left us the beginning of this season. What were you saying, Tony?
Oh no, I was just saying that you know when you can go through life, you can have many encounters, can't you?
Yeah.
But then, like you said, like you meet the one, and then you block. As if I'm visual. I went out the night I met my other half. I went out and I was peed off. I'm not a happy man at all. Didn't want to go out with my friends. Want to stop at home and stop at my mum's yard. I went out and I saw her after being chatted by some 31-year-old for about 2 hours, 3 hours. I was not interested in the talk.
What was his name?
Shut up.
What was his name? I like that one, mate.
I was interested, and I saw her, and I think I've told Owen this story, and I saw her, and I felt like I'd been hit in the head. Totally bamboozled me, complete opposite what I've ever been out with before, and 6 years down the line, I'm still as happy as I was when I first met her.
Oh, cool. That's
You know what I mean?
cool.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing is, what you can go out with, you can be with different people, and you think that everything's okay, and the visual looks okay, but if the inside's not right,
I know. Yeah. After a week. After a week. Yeah.
Pardon?
After a week, it's bye-bye.
Pardon?
So
After 1 week, it's bye-bye.
Yeah,
Well, no, but things are people. My mum told me something. She said to me that people wear a mask. When you first meet them for the first time, you will not see the worst of them at all.
Yeah.
You won't see the bad side of them for at least 6-7 months. Could be up to a year. Depends how long you keep it for.
There's a great meme. I'm not sure if everybody's seen it. Where this guy wakes up in the morning and he's in bed and he turns around and he looks at it. And he sees this woman and he goes, oh.
And he gets out of bed.
He gets out of bed and he starts collecting all his clothes and trying to creep downstairs. As he's creeping downstairs, he sees his picture of some kids. And then he sees a picture of him and the woman. And then as he walks down, he gets a picture. And one of the kids down there says, "Morning, Dad." He goes, oh. So he'd had a few drinks the night before, but he's back home in his own bed. And he doesn't like the fact what he's woken up with. But that's somebody that he's been living with for a while. And this happens. You meet somebody when they've got this facade on, this vision, and generally they're okay. They do change over time. And all you've got to hope is you've got to be adaptable to live with how those changes are going to go. Because even Kevin was married twice. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, married twice.
So he had one kid with one woman, and then he married somebody else, didn't have whatever. Although well, at least we know that this is the third woman. But you know what? There's nothing to say. I don't care what. Look at Philip Schofield.
I know, yeah.
Schofield, married for years, little kid. He comes out, and everybody's supposed to feel sorry for him, not the wife.
I didn't feel sorry for him. I felt sorry for his wife.
I feel sorry for him. He's been a screaming gay for whatever day. He's been a screaming gay from day. So I was like, I'm going to feel sorry for him. Philip was the one who's lying to everybody. No offense.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry. But to me, the thing with Kevin Samuels was, you know what? I know, Kevin, you might not like them all, well, you might not like what they're saying, but you don't have to be so harsh on them. One of the things that you said earlier, it is quite true. Everybody can't be the same. We can't all be doctors. We can't all be mathematicians. We can't all be scientists, whatever, surgeons. However, what you need to understand about this, and this is what I understand about working in a large, multi-international company. If you don't, for example, when you go in, you just ignore the cleaners, never say anything to them, treat them like shit. The day you walk into the office, and the office is all, why haven't the bins
messed up?
Why haven't things been tidy? Because you decided to treat those as if they're not worthy of having any type of acceptance from you. To me, every single person in that is a cog, is a link in a cog. And I like to speak to everybody in the organisation. It doesn't make any difference what level they're at. I told somebody who came to us from IBM, this guy. But my manager came to me and said, he wants you to do this project nowadays. And I said, no. And he said, why not? I said, because we've got a process, and you told us to use the force process, and now you're forcing me to put something through just because he's higher above you. I said, I'm not doing it. And they didn't like that. But all I was doing was my proper job.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have to be told, you can't jump in just because you've got a big jacket or a big ticket or you wear a bigger hat. It doesn't mean anything.
But Neville,
you're disturbing the rest of the services.
But Neville, you made some pretty good, interesting points now, because we can't all be surgeons and bankers and this and that. But you know something? How hypocritical is this? You know, the job that you have doesn't mean that you are that person to match it in terms of being your character. You could be a surgeon, you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, you could have a very important, high-powered, or let's call it respectable profession. But as a person, you could be a right shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. And isn't it fickle? Aren't we fickle? We go for the profession rather than the person. It's crazy. And I would also, I think men and women are just as guilty, but I really think sometimes that women are more guilty when it comes to that, because they go for the powerful profession. And not for the person. The person that's behind
arranged marriages. We never know arranged marriage. That's very important.
Yeah. And look how many, Everton, look how many arranged marriages fall apart or are falling apart in private when they've gone for
in private.
The profession, but not the person. Now, I would.
Well, but on the other hand, a lot of those marriages succeed. Yeah, because it's a work in progress. Of course. So the matchmaker has put them together, and they've had a few meetings and whatever, and they put them together, and they're down to work for the next 30 years and building that life.
I agree.
Yeah?
I agree. I agree. I mean, you can have a certain level of success with that specific system, and failure too. But it is so fickle when we're almost conditioned by the trend to go for the job, the status, and not find out about the person. And I don't know how we get over that, but I do know as men, well, certain men that I've seen, I've met, the older they become, they are more choosy about who they get involved with. They're not just they're not just driven by the little head. The big head sometimes has to take over, because if it's a whole of life, it's a whole of life. Yeah, exactly, absolutely, Everton. It's a whole of life thing. It's a 360-degree thing that you've got to be in. It can't be just a 90-degree or a 180. It's got to be a 360 thing, because it's a whole of life thing. For life, it's for do or die, richer or poorer.
Yeah, exactly.
Or health.
Yeah, there's tough times and easy times. But I tell you right, the culture isn't with that at the moment. The culture is, there's a song I've got on my playlist, always play it on my thing, and some woman singing where her ideal man is 6 foot, 6 figures, and 8-inch. Ooh, what?
And 6-pack.
Yeah. Wow, well, but the hook line is 6 foot, 6 figure, and 8-inch. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all very superficial stuff, and that's the culture. And that song is a popular song, right? Yeah. All the women going like, right, and sing along with it, right? Yeah. That is a popular thing, right? Yeah. So a lot of the culture isn't, and then when women complain about men being objective, right? Yeah, very objectifying them. When you ask a woman, as who said it a minute ago, want a 6-foot guy and this much, they'd have a laundry list, right? Yeah, of specific points about a man, right? Yeah, or all male stereotyping, right? Yeah. When the guy says, "I want a slim woman," oh, right, right, yeah.
When they do it, they're classed as strong women. When we do it, we're classed as misogynistic, chauvinist pigs.
But exactly. You look at the difference between men and women. How we as men, we hold ourselves accountable. So if for example, Lennox said something a few weeks ago. Remember we went out for a meal, and I gave him a reality check.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's my spar, and I'm going to say something. And so as a man, I'll say this. I don't mean any offense to it, But so I'm a man looking on the outside, looking in, and say, that ain't too right. A woman or group of women, she can walk out in the worst dress possible, doesn't suit her, and her friends will say, "You go, girl, you look great tonight." And I witnessed that. I
It's
witnessed
one
that.
less competition.
That's
It's
right.
one less in the competition.
Yeah, that's right. I went to a shop with my partner.
Calculating.
I went to a shop with my partner, to Zara, and there's two dresses that she liked, one in green, one in black. The green dress, I couldn't stand it. Didn't look right on at all. Same style, by the way, same style. The black dress, she looked drop dead gorgeous. She had these orange shoes on. She looked fantastic. And I said, "That's the dress you're gonna. That's the dress. That's a nice dress. I don't like the green one. I like the black." She went and bought the black one. What then happened was, there was three girls. One was a bit chunky, and she went to try on some crazy pattern suit, like the backgrounds, and even the same type of colours as that, right? And she went into the changing room, got the suit on, came out, and her two friends were watching her. And she said, "What do you think?" And I looked, and I went, "Ooh, that looks terrible." The colours just look big, right?
Did she ask you?
Her friend
Did
said,
she ask you to interfere in her life?
and a friend said, "Oh, it looks lovely, it really suits you." So she went back in, took it off, ready to go and buy it. When she went back in, they said, "Oh, I know she likes that, but it doesn't look right," and it does it. And these were two friends. Two friends are saying this. So I thought, Jesus Christ, why don't women be honest?
Less
There's a reality
competition.
check here. They
Less
are not her friends.
competition and more
They're not
calculating.
friends.
That's what it
They
is.
are not her friends. Your friends are the ones who will tell you, "Oh, by the way, your knickers are tucked into your skirts, tucked into your knickers."
Yeah.
They're not the ones who laugh at you when you come out of the toilet and you say, "Oh yeah, no, I took lots of pictures." They aren't your friends. Your friends are the
Put it
ones
out
who will
on
tell you,
Instagram.
"Oh, your collar's not straight this morning." The ones that will see it and just say nothing about it, they're not your friends. The world has to make a choice, and it's quite simple. Dismiss those people who aren't going to tell you that you look like crap when you're outside because you made a simple mistake, and go for those people that can say, they've got your back. You know what? You just got your tie in the wrong place there.
Okay, well, going back to your point then, Neville, that you made earlier, when we said about how Kevin Samuel was harsh, I think an awful lot of those girlfriends of those girls didn't give them a reality check.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I know he says, "I'm telling you what you." I'm telling you what
you're the
you don't want
perfect
to
woman.
hear.
You got 3 kids by 3 different fathers.
I understand that,
Great.
but it didn't.
You're doing
it
well.
Doesn't have,
You're
it
doing
doesn't
well,
have to.
girl.
It doesn't have to
No.
deliver it like that.
Hang on. So how do you want someone to water it down? I've talked
exactly.
to my
You know what? Let me tell you something. I'll tell you something.
Neville.
And you tell me how you deal with it. I was at work. Now I'm a team leader, right?
Not at work. Neville.
No, it's at work.
Right?
I'm going to give you a work one. Just give you one.
No, you need to a personal one, right? Yeah? Where
It's
you're talking
personal.
talking to your mum,
When I mention it, you'll understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
There's a black guy that works in the office.
Don't tell me, Neville. Don't tell me the woman's wearing a white dress with black blonde pranters, and you can see the blonde pranters underneath. Yeah? Is that the one?
So I said to her, "You can't wear that to work because, well, it just doesn't look right, does it?" What do you mean? I've seen that. Out of order. But to be fair, talking of which, I did tell a girl off in Manchester because I said to her, and I won't say her name, but I said to her, other members of the team have told me that in summer you tend to wear this thing that's totally see-through. I said, now listen, I'm not going to say that it probably doesn't look right or doesn't look nice. However, here's the situation.
It looks too nice.
Here's the situation. You might take offence at somebody or male who's looking at you and you don't like the looks. So I said, so rather than that happen, it's best if you just don't wear it, just because it's probably just not work attire. So therefore, if you do come to work and you're wearing that, I am going to send you home. So I told you before it happened.
Never. No. The reason why I said that story right here because it's an actual story.
I've seen. I know you're talking about the dentist.
Let me finish, right? Yeah, let me finish. Yeah, the dentist.
The dentist.
Yeah.
I've seen that this week.
LBC. Yeah,
I saw the dentist.
Yeah, but Neville, that Sheila Fogarty would call you a pervert.
No, I am looking.
Your eyes are supposed to look. Eyes supposed to look but not see. Apparently.
Okay, let me tell you
look but not see to be a
this
perfect
is what
man.
happened.
This is what happened. Wide open, but you can't see a thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this is what happens.
You're pervert.
Okay, if you think I'm wrong, then you tell me. If I think
you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm pointing out to you.
Some women.
I think you're right. Everyone thinks you're wrong.
And they'll show everything, expose everything. Now, if you look at them and you're not deemed the right man to be looking at them,
exactly,
they're going to get angry with you and make a point of it.
Call the police.
They say, what are you looking at? But if you are deemed, if you've got the 6 pack, you're 6 foot, you're 6'2", you got 8 inches, then you are okay to look at them. And this is the acceptable. This is what society thinks. Yeah, that's acceptable because I know that this guy's got all the package going on. You little fat bastard, I've got nothing. Don't look at me.
Well, no. Having said that, then does that justify? Is she justified then wearing that outfit then, which will cause her to get unwarranted stares?
Not justified.
If she wants to wear it,
if she can take the stairs
from people she likes, people she doesn't like.
Exactly. If she can't do that, she shouldn't wear it. That's what I think. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But a lot of people, the accepted opinion now, apparently, you're supposed to look and not see and not say anything.
Yeah.
Men can't do that.
Which is ridiculous.
This is crazy.
But I'll tell you this one. The one I was going to tell you.
The motivation why they wear that. If it celebrates their womanhood or their curves or their assets, fine. But what are the motivations behind that? You're not going to tell me that some women dress like that because they want to feel free to dress. They dress that way to attract. They do. But
apparently not. Again, apparently not. That's obvious.
That's the unsaid thing, isn't it? And we know that's bullshit. We know it's done to attract the opposite sex. But like Neville said, if it gets the gaze from the fat bastard, it's terrible, right? It's seen as an insult to her. But if the guy who's 6 foot, 8 pack, 16 inch long, oh yeah, great, you know.
Wow. I think all this is going back to going back to the sort of the change in the 60s. I mean, if you were to define what provocation was in the terms of women's dress, I think if you look at sort of what goes on in church, mostly when you're looking at dress, it tends to be pointed more at the females in the congregation than the guys. Short skirts and the lipstick and whatever. Guys are never really called out on dressing provocatively, and women feel that they can. Women feel that they can wear the skirt as short as they want, but you're not supposed to see that as provocative. Maybe it's something to do with what I was looking at Samuel's. It's maybe like self-awareness. You know, if I can, you know, you see the girls going out and I don't know, rephrase that. You don't see it mostly on telly because I'm not really in that environment. But when you're looking at how girls
good comment, Alex.
If you look at how girls sit
for the church,
the skirts, there's nothing to do with church. If you look at how girls sit, and they have to sort of sit in a way with the knees together and then the hands in front of the handbag, and then they stand up. I mean, it's almost acceptable now to show a little bit of gusset, you know, and it's that never used to be. That wasn't of my parents' generation. You know, it's almost an acceptable thing. I'll wear a G-string. A couple of years ago, you don't see it so much now, but 4 or 5 years ago, they would wear the G-string to be visible. And when you look at it and say, well, what does that mean? Yeah, what is that? Why are you doing that? You know, why are you doing that?
I'm going to tell you this. It's just shocking, this stuff. Some of them don't even wear a G-string. Anyway, that was what I was going to talk about. What was I talking about?
How would you know that, Nev? How would you know that?
No, go on. Let Neville finish. Let him finish.
Some guy at work, a young black guy, there's not many black people in this office, right? There was me, probably another, say, 4 in this office in Birmingham. And this guy constantly, from the first thing in the morning, had a terrible smell of BO. First thing in the morning. Yeah, okay, God. You see my point? So how do you handle that?
That's tough.
You see, so what I said is, I thought, you know
tough.
what? Okay, I'll deal with this, but I need to deal with it extremely cautiously. I took him away from everybody else, and I said, listen.
Secret Santa.
I said,
bottle of deodorant.
I said to him, I said, listen, you're a young guy, you're a good-looking guy, you got all these girls fancy you. I said, the issue that you have, and I'm not sure whether you're aware of it, is it's the first thing in the morning, and people are smelling BO on you. So I then straight away I said, have you got some body lotion? Have you got some body spray? Anything that you can spray? Because obviously, you know, we've got toilets here. You can go and have a shower if you want to. Get yourself dry and put some body shower. And he kind of took it like, oh, do I? Because you know sometimes some people can't smell themselves.
Yeah.
So, but I said to him, listen, if it's a medical issue, whatever, you got a problem. I said, all you just need to do is, because it was warm in the office and the guy's got this thick jumper on anyway, so you're thinking, there's the issue. That's a problem. I found the mouse. All you got to do. So, I just do, you just be beware in the morning when you come. Get yourself some fresh. I said, do you need to have the jumper on at this time of the day, really? So I was trying to be as subtle as possible with him. But you know what? That is one of the hardest things to deal with. Telling somebody about the cleanliness.
When you're dealing with pupils and students, for instance, I've had the same challenges, and it's not singular, but challenges almost on an annual basis, especially when I was in education full time, where you'd get even girls coming in smelling really rank. And I remember one time, and this was in one of the lessons I was teaching, the whole place reeked of this girl. And that's because she had very full breasts anyway. And of course, underneath the arms, that's where the smell.
I'm not going to have anything against a woman with full breasts.
And she kept on, and she'd constantly spray herself with deodorant, and it made it worse. So at the end, in this particular instance, I had to wait until the class finished, and I'd let everybody else go. And I said, "Can I just speak to you for a minute?" The girl, I made sure that I beckoned to the girl, and we stayed back. And for the next 10 minutes, I had to lay it on the line, because a preamble to that was her friends were complaining to me that she odor, but they didn't want to tell her. And I said, well, why as friends, why didn't you alert her to this? We couldn't, sir, because so. Can you deal? Just let me finish, please.
Go on.
Right, and they asked me to do it, and I refused the first time. But honest, Tony, that morning when she came in, it was that strong. I had to relent. I had to deal with it. And 10 minutes after, I was beating around the bush, and I had to come to the conclusion, say, look, you know something? Let's call it Angela. I said, Angela, look, you have a body odor problem at the moment. It's quite strong and it's overbearing. And also, too, your friends are quite concerned about it, because it's they've come to me out of concern for you, out of sort of style it like that. But they didn't particularly want to tell you because they didn't want to hurt your feelings. And it's fallen to me to actually let you know that, look, we need to do something about this. So I started to ask her about her hygiene habits, right? And she said, I do wash, wash every month. I said, but how often do you do? Do you do it thoroughly? Because if that's the case, if you've got this problem with your body odor, perhaps you could bring then a spare blouse and some toiletries to change during break, just to keep the odor down, because it is embarrassing, not just for your friends, but it's also potentially embarrassing for you. And you know something? The girl cried, but she didn't cry out of anger. She cried out of embarrassment, and I had to reassure her.
Yeah.
But it was one of the hardest things I did. But I tell you the truth, in answer to Neville's point that he put across, the more you do it, Nev, the easier it gets because you find the words and you know how to gauge it. And that's
going back to what you just said just now, right? And I told you about girls and women, how women are. Those two girls who were her friends, and you not put the nail on the head. They were scared about hurting her feelings.
Yeah.
The girls who said about the clothes, scared of hurting their girls' feelings.
Yeah.
Men don't do that. We don't say fuck your feelings. This is the facts.
Yeah.
That's
the way I do it, man. Take it off.
You know what? No, Tony, you know what? It's hard. And this is the difference between Kevin Samuels. This is why he had no empathy. That's why I say I think he's
and then you know something.
I do say that, but we say.
I think at the end of the day, when someone's gone through life and they've gone through a fair few
30
years
years
of
old
life,
women, 30
I've been
years
told
old, 30.
everything's fine, everything's great, you're doing okay, and they're still single. They're gonna what was that? Buy a dog, die alone. They've gone through that, and then someone opens their eyes and says, "Listen, this is the facts." Someone's going to take it harsh to them because they've been going through Disneyland. They've always been laid on nice and thin. The bread's buttered properly with the icing sugar with the cherry on top. And that's I'm okay, I'm fine. Everyone thinks I'm okay. No, it's not right at all. And it's like those fat girls who are having sex with men on a weekly basis, and they think they're fine, but they don't realise that they've been used for recreational use only. No one's going to wipe them
exactly.
up.
That's the thing.
Again,
isn't it? Yeah.
You know, and they're not thinking about whether it should be healthy or not. They're not whether thinking about, well, you know something, what's my future going to look like when I get older? The man that I want, and not some good-looking guy.
Well, you said, yeah.
You know,
True.
because you've always got to remember, there's things that happen. Women can get sex anytime they want.
Yeah.
Anytime. The fattest woman can have sex, right? Seriously.
The fattest man can't.
No.
The fattest man can't.
No, he can't.
Exactly. He can't. But carry on.
He can't. You know, so the thing is, what some women don't seem to realise is that they give us access to sex. We can't get nothing without their permission, can we?
Yeah. Well,
legally
anyway.
But they cannot have a relationship.
Yeah.
It's impossible. They can't get married unless we get on one knee or whatever you're going to tell you're going to do it. They can't go into a relationship unless we ask them to do it.
You know what, Tom? I'm going to stand up here for the LGBTQT PRS KLM society because they can get down on one knee. I'll tell you what I don't like about them, but not one of them could tell you the actual colours that the rainbow actually forms in, but they got it as a symbol. Anyway, do you understand what I mean by that? A rainbow is always the same pattern, isn't it? We know it's the same pattern.
Yeah.
I guarantee you ask any LGBT person that uses the rainbow as their flag, what are the colours that represent a rainbow?
Yeah.
They've stolen something that was already there.
Red, orange, yellow.
And I guarantee they don't know how it's performed.
Indigo.
But anyway, the funny, and this is really true. The funny thing is, for that girl that was in your class, you know what? It's not really women's faults with these things. It's because bras, and this is a fact, are really badly made. They've been badly made for years. Yeah. What they do is they just get in the skin, they're clamping it together and sticking it on the chest.
Yeah.
Now, I've actually invented something to stop that. This is no word of a lie. If you want, you can look it up. I've invented something which I've got a trademark on called underbra. Have a look. If you look at underbra, you'll find my details on there. Underbra, which goes under their skin, between their boobs, and it stops them from sweating. It stops the skin from touching skin, because that's what it basically is. It's just like us, you know, like us, we got our testicles, unfortunately, are forced to be where they are. But if you could separate them, that you'd separate the heat that men get in the testicles by sticking in some type of sack. It's the same type of thing. But I feel sorry for you having to do that to that poor girl. I feel sorry for the poor girl, but really, it's not her fault. Lots of women suffer from it. I mean, 80% of women don't even get measured for a proper bra fitting.
No, they don't. No.
So
They don't.
But hey,
And it's a personal thing, and there's no two bras the same, and no two shaped breasts the same, which is true.
no.
And it's all about the size of the back.
I can't say that.
It's
Owen,
a size.
I can't.
Yeah.
Owen. I
Yeah.
can't say that. Yeah. I can't say that. They're all different. I can't say that. I haven't.
Take it from us.
Sorry. Can you?
What I'm saying is right, Everton. In measuring for the bra, it's not the chest size now. It's the back. It's the broadness of the back.
Yeah.
When it's not when the back is not measured right, the bras do not sit right, and
if they've got a bigger back, then
I mean, I have two daughters anyway, and I know what it was like, especially for my eldest daughter. Yeah, God, you know, she has to have those special bras made because she's quite buxom, and she has to get them. She has to get measured properly for it to sit right. They do suffer because bras are mostly designed by men. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
crazy. Yeah.
Women know what women want. You know.
But yeah, going back to Kevin, I think he was very harsh on people.
No, he
And
wasn't.
you could deliver the same message, but you haven't got to be vile.
No, he wasn't vile.
Do you know, right? Neville, would it make a difference if a woman was delivering the same message or not?
If she delivered it in exactly the same way, no, it wouldn't.
Okay, fair enough. Because you do realise, right? Yeah, that Kevin Samuel is not original. So there was a woman called Shahrazad Ali.
Ali,
Who was delivering the same sort of message, right? Yeah, as Kevin Samuel,
Yeah.
but in 1990s.
Okay.
Yeah. And if anything, she was a bit more. She was more about the civil rights thing as well. And about various things. So she's more from that religious civil rights side than Kevin Samuels was. But she's virtually saying the same sort of thing. And she's very hard-hitting.
She talked about the way that black women were respecting their black men or disrespecting them, should I say?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
but in her book, she said something about there's a line in about the guy, if the woman steps out of the line too much, to slap her, right? Yeah. So the whole thing was you can imagine, right? Yeah, violence against women. The whole thing was like trashed big time. Yeah.
Well,
so no one thought, is it a figurative slap or a real slap? Of course. Yeah.
One of the issues of course, is we've melded all these different races and traditions into one, and the main one in the country will say, "Don't smack kids, don't blah 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 blah." So all the time, the rules are being changed. What you can do, what you can't do, what you can do with your own child. You say something to your child, your child tells you to F off, and then they start calling child line. And it's like, hang on a minute. I'm the boss in this house. So you all these things, society has changed, and it's it makes it harder to understand, actually, where do we stand? Don't get me wrong, most black people were brought up kind of, I would say, relatively sternly. We know the difference between stepping out of line, talking back, even at 40, 50, we were talking back to our parents.
Dad.
So when I went to my white friend's house,
you know,
when I went to my white friend's house and saw them speaking back to their parents, and I'm in my 40s, I got my face is. And this is what the British, certainly the white British, don't understand about black people. They just think we're all aggressive. No, we're not. We were taught from a very early age.
I think it's a Western European thing, you know. Western European values completely
agreed.
Central and Eastern European, and also Asia, because they don't give a shit. They beat their ass out, beat the ass off the kids. I don't know, right? It's a Western European thing, which is all pervasive, which is seen to be, you know, the main narrative. But I think you'll find different cultures deal with different things. Over here, you can't hit a kid; you get locked up in prison. But if a child is behaving badly in, say, the Gambia or in Pakistan or in India or in China, they get their backside waxed. Yeah. If a child is behaving bad in Romania, right, or Bulgaria, they get some serious ass whooping because it's part of the culture. Western Europe has become so sanitized and otherworldly that they've created a monster or a genie that they can't put back in the bottle, and to
There's no pressure for it.
In terms of, I'm sorry, what were we
There's no
saying?
pressure
Sorry,
to put it back. So there's no pressure to put it back in the bottle.
No, there is
the other way to go further down the line.
I'd go so far to say that there's no desire to do that.
Yeah,
because
no
they
desire,
believe that
none.
to give them ultimate power is a virtue to them. But the thing is, we all realize that children need boundaries. Even a child will tell you that. They need boundaries.
Yeah.
I work in schools and I've been in education for the past 30 odd years, and I know what I see the results of that.
Have you seen?
But because you haven't
this,
out there. Sorry, go ahead.
So have you read that book? Have you read Catherine Babel Singh? Got school in Wembley, the Michela School. Have you heard about that? She's known as the strictest headmistress in England. Catherine Babel Singh. But she has a very, very strict school, and people demonstrate against her school that said she's too strict. Yeah. People badmouth her. They hate that school, even though the kids love their school. Yeah, and they can learn. Academic brilliance is rewarded. The parents love the school. The teachers love the school. Yeah,
and there are no boundaries.
There are boundaries. But outsider people don't like it. They don't like that. The school. She said the teacher should do the teaching, lead the class. The fashion is now, it's child-centered learning, where the child leads his own learning. That's right. And she said, no, that's wrong. Yeah. She goes, no, it's wrong. We haven't got time for that. Yeah.
It's not classed as a course anymore. It's classed as the new word is learning path. But the fact is, when you absorb, when you give a child ultimate power, where they're not emotionally and intellectually savvy enough to deal with that, to apply it right.
Exactly.
You create a living hell. It's topsy-turvy. It's upside down, and that's how it is. And then those kids become adults with attitude.
Exactly.
Because if you're highly emotional and you have this attitude, you're not going to be averse to accepting criticism or advice because you've been allowed to get away with what you want. You're given ultimate power, and you were sanctioned by the government.
Even the Conservative government's on board with that. So
but
you can't get away from it.
You think about sports.
So the system functions there, and we create this monster we cannot tame.
But you think about sports days for children now. There's no losers. So when they go into the real world, they haven't got a clue how to deal with loss or get taken out. They don't know how to deal with rejection. They think everything should be handed on the plate to them. And society's gone mad.
I understand the honourable intention of that, but it's crazy because you have to have some sense of your own limitation, loss, to develop the desire to improve.
That's
if
right.
there's no losers, how can you work towards the absolute the pursuit of excellence? You take that away.
You'd be the best version of yourself. You may always be a loser, but you know what? You'll try to get better.
Yeah, exactly.
It's striving isn't it? The pursuit of excellence. Exactly. Both on a macro and a micro at an individual level. That's what it is. And all these codes of the old world, right? I understand that there's the darker side where you keep on putting someone down, you ruin their self-esteem. I've seen it happen.
We're not just putting them down, though. You have to try and give people opportunities to get better. Yeah.
Thank you.
Give them a push to get better. If they don't do that bit,
I mean, like guys, if you think about it, right? I'm being scientific here, but it is not unrelated to what we're talking about. We are talking about balance.
It's very related. Yeah,
we are talking about
how do you criticize somebody? What do you say to them? Whether you hold back and try and, nibble away, or do you tell them exactly what you think the problem is? Yeah, that's the point
I'm trying to. Well, that's the point I'm trying to put across. It's the way in which you do it, but it's all about balance, right? You give them something to strive for, but you also say, wait a minute, this is not going right. What can you do to be better? The scientific comparison I make is this. We're the third rock from the sun, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Walk with me on this, guys. We're the third rock from the sun. The sphere in which, or the space in the whole order of things that we occupy is the Goldilocks sphere.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not-
exactly. Yeah, okay.
It's not
true.
too
Yeah.
cold. So the
too
whole
hot, yeah.
issue here is balance. So now look, if we live on a planet that thrives on balance, how much more the principles of the life form which dwells on it?
Yeah, yeah.
Balance in everything. A little bit of this,
Yeah,
a
but
little bit
that's
of that. The yin to the yang.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. We can't even do the yin to the yang anymore. That's sexist. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
transphobic. You can't even have that anymore. But,
So
No, but you're very
we
right.
took the baby out of the bathwater.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But it comes back round to when Kevin Samuels is telling someone something, and then we've had 20 years of this emotional roller coaster where we're taught to be very emotional, but how we feel is very important now, right? Where that when someone tells you something, right? Yeah, it's a big. If you don't feel good about it, it's a big story. Yeah, you told me something. You said I wasn't a good footballer. Oh my gosh. He can't tell you that. He can't say that to you.
Instead of rationalizing about it, right? Because
I mean,
this
look
is
at
what's
really,
we're not taught how to rationalize, are we? We're taught how
Yeah.
to just emote all the time. Emote.
Yeah.
And any form of balance or sense goes out the window.
You know
And
what?
that's
The
not-
thing is,
just for example, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
just for example, you know, in the cricket thing with that, I can't remember the player's name now, the Asian player.
Yeah.
He said all
Yeah.
Yorkshire was racist to him. So on that long list of
Yeah.
litany you read out in the in that committee meeting, one of the ones on there was that he said one of the head trainers called one of the other Asian players, I think it was an Asian player, fat.
Sorry?
Maybe a white player, but he said the player was fat, overweight. Yeah,
Artist.
that was on his list. So it's racist, and he said fat something to some player, right? Yeah, right. So this guy's a trainer.
Oh,
If I he said
but
you're
did-
bloody overweight, mate, you better go on a diet. Imagine Rooney.
Well-
Remember Rooney? You better go on a
but
diet, Rooney.
yeah, but did he call him
But-
fat
and
or
look,
did he call him a fat packing bastard?
Hey,
That's
No,
different.
no. It may have been a white player actually. He made it sense to a white player. It's a list of things where the woke are saying these things are wrong now. If I said this about you, then it's completely wrong. You need to hang your head in shame. So after all the racist things, at the end was he called somebody fat.
But
At the
why did he
end
do
of the
that?
thing. Yeah.
Why do you think he did it?
The trainer could have gone.
No. Why did he put fat on the list?
Might have been warned. No, the player that died recently, 54. Yeah.
No, but why
But,
why did that cricketer put fat on the list after all the racist stuff? Why did he put fat on the bottom?
Because
Ward.
fat is one of the insults now. One of the things. If I could tell you're fat,
It's
that you're
scientist.
fat shaming. You can't be doing that now. Yeah, you can't do that now. Yeah.
I can understand the hurt that comes from
obesity.
that. I can understand the hurt that comes from that, Everton, because when I was younger, I was quite big, right?
Yeah,
And
but
I was often lampooned. I was often lampooned
Wow.
and teased by people. So I understand what it can do to your self-esteem.
Can I come back around there? Can I finish that? Can I finish?
But,
To the one point. Okay. Okay.
But you can be too sensitive, where you completely ruin the original intention of it. You know.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
what-
Yeah.
I guess that's what you
So,
mean. Yeah.
so in schools now, right? Yeah, in school, I'm not sure they still do it, but for certain, when my younger daughter was like in year 5 or 6, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Might have been in senior school, first year of senior school. They might still do it now, but I don't know. You get a letter sent back. You're given a letter. All the kids are given a letter at school. Yeah. Was it all? Maybe not all the kids. Only some of the kids. Yeah. When they get home, the letter said obese. Yeah. Right. So one of my wife's friends with the son at school came to show the letter to my wife. It says my son's obese. Yeah. How could they be saying he's fat? That's ridiculous. How could they be saying that? Yeah. doesn't hurt his feelings. No, he can't be embarrassing the kids like that. Yeah, but that was a thing. That was an actual thing where they send a letter home to half the kids in the class saying your son or daughter is overweight and is clinically measurably obese.
I think that's not been long ago, is it? That's got to be about 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, but don't still do it though.
My boys had that, but they're stick thin anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I know. But actually, I'm obese as well, apparently, by the measure, my body index and everything. But well, what can I say? But that was a thing they were doing to kids, right? And they send this letter home to the kids in their bag saying, "Yeah, and you can put it at home. They must be opening and reading to other kids. I'm fat." Yes. They knew what it said. That's fat.
No, that's a bit harsh. I think those type of things should come from the parents. Really.
Yeah. What time we finishing, guys?
When did Kevin Samuels work at your school?
Tony, you turned my you turned my video off for some reason. I'm not quite sure why.
You fell asleep?
No.
You was asleep?
No, I wasn't asleep.
We all watched you. You're sleeping.
I was not sleeping. My eyes are always like that. People always make reference to it. I wasn't sleeping at all.
Okay.
To be fair, he's answered straight as you called him.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't sleeping. Yeah.
We can play it back. So record this. We can play it back. You sleep. And the camera going back.
No, I wasn't sleeping. I mean,
yes,
people always.
No, I wasn't. Praying.
I mentioned your name, Lennox, and you didn't say nothing.
He did. I thought he did say something.
No, he didn't. He moved. It's all on video, mate.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on a clip.
It's 10:30, and I've still got work to do. Actually,
yeah.
So.
We'll
okay.
have to call it quits there.
Yeah, the thing is, though, my conclusion is on Kevin Samuels. He told you what he was. Told us it is. Yes, sometimes I thought he was harsh the way he delivered his message, and I do believe sometimes it's harsh. But I also believe some of those women need to hear that. Need to hear it because something. They're hard ears. The friends.
I go as far as some of the people need to hear it because even the guys who did it too, right? You put them in their place. I understand Neville's concern, but. I mean, the guy's a shock jock. He did his job, and I would say that part of what he was doing too was not only just making a name for himself, but in the whole process of things, it was therapeutic for those people that were being insulted because it forced them to see reality. That, if you are going to have aspirations, you've got to have the marketability to match your aspirations.
Yeah.
It's a dirty word, really, isn't it?
You can't go around thinking you're a 10 when you're a 5. You got to be average.
Yeah, reality is a dirty word for some women.
Yeah.
It's like I can say and do whatever I want, and I can get a man whenever I want, and to be told no, you can't. There's not many people doing that. Not many people sort of shining the light on.
I think
on that sort of behaviour.
Yeah. I think reality is a dirty word in today's society. No one wants to hear bad news or bad thing, even if it's true. They don't want to hear it.
No, they don't. But reality was invented. I have to say, reality was invented for a reason. It's to strike the balance because you can't do much of one or the other.
You say these women do think they're fantastic, but the reality is, they come to you and say, "I'm going out with you." You say, "No, you're not."
It keeps it grounded. Reality keeps us grounded. That's what struck the balance,
Yeah, but one thing I always remember this. I don't know how much clubbing you guys did in the past, but how many times have you gone to a nightclub and a woman is always bought a drink? They couldn't come back with no money. They get bought drinks by the men. We tell them how great they look because you know what you want to get from them. You give them a lift home. You give them a lift home. They make your car go lopsided on one side of the car.
Yeah. Or you drive all the way to Scotland to drive their friend home.
If they're making
take my friend
go lopsided,
you drive all the way to Alaska to drop their friend home, and then when you drive them home, it's a goodbye. And that's it.
That's it, yeah. So you know, you got to remember that men are traditionally put women on a pedestal. That's why you got these big girls sleeping with all these different men, thinking they're the bomb, and they're not. They're not.
What's happening is they're just being lulled into a false sense of security.
I cannot comment on that, Tony. Sorry, mate.
No. I don't do fat.
I'll plead the fifth.
Guys, I've got to go. It's late.
Okay.
I've got to go. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Bye-bye.
God bless.
You know what happens with black people? You know what we do?
Right.
Right?
See you right.
I think one of the first guys that came on the panel said a few months ago when we first started, he said he likes his women juicy. So we give them juicy, curvy, fluffy.
Yeah.
All these the queens. When they give themselves these titles that they haven't even earned.
You know what, Tom? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I tell you, it depends on what he wants at the time. He's into that at the moment. He's not always
exactly.
But
exactly, Tony.
You know, sometimes
Tony, you have to remember. Go on. You go.
Sometimes you've never. I'm not talking about myself. Sometimes you've never been with a bigger woman, and then when you go with it, you think, you know what, that wasn't bad. I think it's bad. I'm not talking about myself. I've heard people say it.
You're not talking about yourself, Ned. You're not talking about yourself, Ned.
No. It's just, I'm just referencing.
No, I give you the shovel, Ned. Hey, Nev, here's a shovel, mate. All right, there you go, mate.
A fat woman will say to you,
I'm not talking about myself.
there's more cushion for the loving, or more cushion for the pushing.
It's not that. Apparently, that's not what they've said. They say more cushion for the pushing.
That's it.
Exactly.
All I would be thinking to myself is, will I find a remote control between the armpits?
But see, Tony, right? Yeah, Tony, I think you assume it's a bell.
Because you're dead.
It's a bell. It's a bell curve. Remember, right?
Go on.
It's a bell curve. So some people like them very thin.
Absolutely, yes.
Some like them very fat. Right? Yeah.
I understand that.
Right. So
it's normally you
it depends
Jamaicans.
where you draw that. It depends.
Normally you Jamaicans like them big girls. Us Belgians don't like them big girls like that.
Hey, listen, mate. That's islandist. Right?
Yeah, islandist. Yeah, exactly. Islandist. Yeah.
Back.
You like them juicy, fluffy, curvy girls.
You know what it's like. I'm
you know, right? Yeah.
Just remember that comedian, that American comedian who's died. He said it ain't nothing but 50 pumps. Count it if you ain't got nothing better to do.
Say it again.
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac said it ain't nothing but 50 pumps. Count it if you ain't got nothing better to do.
And on that note, gentlemen, I will now respectfully sign off. Thanks again, guys.
Signing off.
Great one again. Neville, Everton, Lennox. Neville, you're a card, mate. You're a one in a million. You're our treasure. You are our treasure. I
just try to put it out there as it really is.
The legend.
Okay, guys. Good night.
Okay, guys.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Hello.
Tony, well done, mate.
Cheers.
Okay, no,